Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. So when we were finishing that last chopping job yesterday, I was telling you another big thing we got going on right now is fourth cutting. Well, it sounds like I'm the swather driver today just because we're out of people. We got a really big cattle day. Cameron's going to be hauling cattle all day. Maddie will probably be on a horse all day sorting and pushing for the truck. So, and Blanca's gone. Hector said he didn't want to run the swather, so kind of I got the job by default. But first, what I came to do was look at, whoa, hold on to the camera, where they baled yesterday. And I don't know if the camera can pick it up looking into the sun. There is a lot of hay still left in the field that we're not getting. So this 40 acres only made 2 bales. But I'm going to say half the hay is still out there where it was. I know last night I could really see it on this side. I think our rake needs adjusted and get them teeth down a little bit more aggressive. Yeah, so you got your raked row, and then right beside it, you got quite a bit left over. Yeah, definitely need to adjust the rake. It's kind of one of those things that you hate to do because the way those rakes work, the wheels are on springs, so essentially you can control the height, and then the spring just kind of acts as the suspension load almost. Well, if you drop the rake down more, that means the teeth are going to be hitting the ground more, which leads to wearing down the teeth, breaking off the teeth. We actually had to fix a tire on the swather. I was at the end this time last week because there was a rake tooth in it. But that's a lot of money sitting out there, so that's kind of frustrating. And that's the part that sucks about a crappy fourth cutting, is it becomes a real economical deal of, okay, do I just leave that hay out there and hope that it catches some snow if it would happen to snow this winter? You know, if you have crops standing out there, the snow is going to pile up, as opposed to a clean cut field, it's not going to pile. But around here, that is a very if scenario. On the other hand, fourth cutting hay, even though it's just clippings, you know, you're not getting a whole lot, it is pretty damn valuable because of how it is all leaves. So it's worth a lot more money than any of the other cuttings because the feed value is so much higher. So it becomes one of those deals of, all right, this 30 acres will probably get 3 bales off of it. Is that enough money to justify going out there and cutting it? The other thing, cutting it off clean and getting 0 regrowth also lessens the longevity of your hay stand, according to university. Couldn't think of, I remember learning that when I was in college. Yeah, one of the professors talking about that, and I was talking about it with my dad one time. And he goes, yeah, but he goes, what's the economic loss year to year by not going out there and getting that? You got to offset the loss versus the gain. That's a good point. And where we are in a drought and our hay stands are dying prematurely, it's almost one of those, well, instead of being 10-year stands anymore, they're becoming 5-year stands because you can't keep them alive. Maybe it is worth going ahead and clipping off that high value product and lessening the life of your stand, because the drought is lessening the life of your stand already. So I don't know. Breeze out there is a wee bit chilly yet. So Maddie's getting cattle ready. There goes Cam, first load of 60 headed to the feedlot. So here's what I'm talking about, the springs on the rake. This thing's getting wore out. So the way this thing goes and bounces on the ground, that spring absorbs all the bounce. He's parked on a slope, so they're not sitting like they should. When he was in front of the shop, a lot of these would turn without touching the ground. See, like that guy? That's not helping. That's not helping. But our biggest problem, oh, of course he parks where they're all tight. Stuff like this. But look at that bolt. There's no flange on that nut. So over time, that has worked into the plastic. Now your only option is to cut it off, because we've been trying a few different things. At one point we had a hole saw that you could just put right over that and it would chew that plastic up. Nobody can find it. Sounds kind of typical for here. But yeah, so instead of raking right now like we probably should be, or in the very, very near future, we're working on it. And then we can't even run our other rake because that tractor's hooked up to the auger, because guys we bought corn off of are starting to combine. So yeah, just typical cluster day. Okay, load number 2 is on its way to the feedlot. Now is when the circus really begins. So he'll come back and get a third load from over there. Now these guys are all going to move the cattle from this side to the other side to make room for the cattle we're going to bring up to here. But then we also got to kind of keep shuffling them around, because we're going to start hauling out manure, get rid of some of that powder, see if that helps with the sickness, because right now our sickness rate is through the roof. A nice 1/4 inch would solve, I think, all of it, because we got two factors we're fighting right now: dust and the weather. You get these wild temperature swings, it's really hard on new cattle. We need a night where it gets down to about 25, get a good hard killing freeze, and then quit going back up into the 80s. That would solve the weather problem. And then as far as dust, if we just get a little shower. You should have seen it last night. I took pizza down to the Holly firefighters, still doing those pizza dinners I talked about a couple weeks ago, or a couple videos ago. And I get close down there and there's just this haze over the whole town. It was dirt just settling into the valley, because, you know, the river valley. That stuff's all just gonna settle down and just ugh. Anyways, go talk to these guys, see if they got the rake going. Big Chief talked to the guys combining. They're not gonna bring any grain today, so we're gonna get that rake going. Then I gotta go check on some grain stuff, get the company called that does all the moistures, because I believe our subscription shut off. And then go start swathing, I think. Although by then Cameron will be back for load number 3, so I'll probably help load number 3, then go start swathing. Swather engine will be good and warmed up by the time I get anything accomplished today. Well, I was going to turn the fan on, but I don't know. They say not to do it until the floor is completely covered. So I'm not going to do it. Okay, next job. Okay, I very rarely drive a swather, so let's see how this goes. I mean, what could go wrong, right? I don't even know if you can hardly see the windrows on the camera. There's not a whole lot out here, but it should be enough to make it worthwhile. This is one of our better hay stands. This one's only a couple years old. As you can tell, coming around the curve here, color drastically changes, because I'm heading towards one of our older stands that's getting to be 10 years old. I hate this radio. I can't get the volume to adjust. Swather, I'm kind of struggling with the GPS because the buttons don't want to work on the screen. I think that has to do with all the bubbles I was showing you guys earlier. But yeah, see, you can tell right where the new stand ends and the old stand begins. It is really hard to drive at 17 miles an hour. I'm going to go ahead and clip this whole field. It's not going to make a big windrow in places, but other places can make a decent row. Mainly, I don't want to stare at this stupid grass all winter. So I'm going to just go ahead and clip the whole half circle here. Okay, don't worry, the rabbit ran away. It's coming right up on noon. I've got the outside 3 towers done, the inside 4 to go. But I'm getting hungry, and on top of that, Hector just called. He's raking, and he is confused on whether he is in our field or a neighbor's field, which I don't know how in the hell you can get lost. It's a square. As long as you're inside that square, you're in our. So I'm gonna go find Hector and go find some lunch. Then I'll come back and finish this. Hector, how the hell did you not know that was one of our fields? This is the 4th cutting. This is the 4th time we've raked it. Where have you been? looks so much better all cleaned up. Let's talk about swather real quick while I'm walking around because I'm tired of sitting in there. Massey Ferguson Heston series, that is the key. WR9980. I have yet to find hay equipment that can perform with Heston series. Swathers, balers, you name it. Look at that dirt buildup. That's real good on things, huh? Double crimper. That is the thing I love about this swather. And I think that's why it does such a good job. So the crimper basically is designed to make kinks in a stem of hay. These windrows are so thin, I don't even know if I'll hardly be able to find one. Yeah, right there. So see how that bends right there? It's because it kinked it. That is what makes hay dry down. That double conditioner is amazing. In silage, we've been around Deere, Case, New Holland, MacDon, Massey's, triple mowers. Triple mowers are starting to get a lot better than what they used to be. But hands down, the best one we've ever been behind in a chopper is Massey. I don't know what it is about the way it lays the windrows, but all the competitors we have trouble with. Massey, we don't seem to have trouble with picking it up. As for haying, I don't know for sure, but looking around the area, there's a reason Massey's kind of dominate this area. The biggest problem though, the cab. So that cab, if it looks familiar, is actually off of a Gleaner combine. My biggest problem with it is comfort. So this seat is all the way back. Can't hardly stretch out the legs. The Harley bars are so high up. Now my knee is in the controls. I'll give them credit though, they put in 1 million cup holders. It's not bad. The other thing drives me nuts is you can see this wire up here. There's no external plug-in for an audio jack. Couldn't think what that was called for a second. And I know you're sitting here going, man, these are little details. Well, when you're paying $150, hell, these might be up $200,000 or more for one of these things. I kind of expect the cab to be really nice and comfortable enough for your operator to sit in all day without them saying, man, my back hurts, or this hurts, after they run it for several days. No, I just sat in that chopper for 7 weeks. It's comfortable as hell. It's one of the main reasons we run a lot of Deere equipment. The cab is really comfortable on everything. So I kind of look at the other brands at their cabs and I go, why can't you do the same thing? You're charging almost the same amount of money for the same product, but yet you don't have the same, I don't know, luxuries. There we go. There, let's go with that one. My other biggest complaint about this thing is the GPS. Holy crap, do I hate Topcon GPS. I know, I'm spoiled by Green Star, whatever, I don't care. I hate Topcon. Let's head to the next field, shall we? I got pretty picky on that one just because there wasn't near as much out there. But yeah, so that makes 2 farms cleaned up. As soon as we get that baled off, they are done for the year. That being said, guys, I'm gonna go home. Actually, first I gotta go get some eggs. Then I'm gonna go home. Got one last firefighter appreciation dinner tonight. That in that project, so yeah, talk to you guys later.